You stalking my truck now? He didn't answer, just stood there. Third time this week. She laughed, then saw his face. He wasn't joking. What do you want from me? Wrong question, because what he wanted, she wasn't ready for that answer. If you love Afro-Korean romance stories with real emotion and slow burn tension, subscribe to Ebony and Pearl Stories. You don't want to miss what happens next.
Next, jerk chicken wrap. 2 bulgogi bowls. Coming up, Paloma Winters moved behind the food truck window like water. Smooth, efficient, never wasted motion. Steam rose from the grill. Onions sizzled. The lunch crowd pressed close, but she didn't rush. A woman in scrubs leaned in, tired eyes scanning the chalkboard menu. You still got that Caribbean rice? Sold out, Paloma said, wiping her hands on her apron. But I can do a fusion bowl, Korean-style beans and rice, jerk seasoning, pickled mango. The woman blinked. You just make that up? Made it yesterday. Sold 12. All right, I trust you. Paloma's hands moved with muscle memory, scooping, layering, balancing heat and acid. The way she plated wasn't just cooking. It was architecture. Precision wrapped in warmth. She slid the bowl across the counter. Enjoy. The woman smiled, genuine this time, and walked off. Paloma didn't watch her go. She was already moving to the next order, the next rhythm, the next small victory in a day full of them. Half a block away, a black Mercedes idled too long. Inside, Lim Tae-jun sat motionless. Phone ignored. Calls waiting. Gaze fixed somewhere beyond the tinted glass. His driver, Min-jun, checked the rearview mirror. Boss, we're running late for the meeting with. Silence. Min-jun's hands tightened on the wheel. He'd worked for Tae-jun long enough to know when to stop talking. Then, the scent. It slipped through the air vents, faint at first, then undeniable. Not the greasy, forgettable kind that clung to street corners. This was layered, intentional, the kind of smell that didn't beg for attention but refused to be ignored. Tae-jun's jaw tightened. What is that? Min-jun glanced out the window. Food truck, sir. Been there a few weeks. Tae-jun leaned forward slightly. Through the window, he saw her. A black woman with natural curls pulled back tight, sleeves rolled past her elbows, hands moving with a kind of calm authority that only came from surviving something. She handed a bowl to a customer, not the forced smile of someone trying to make rent, but the easy warmth of someone who owned exactly where she stood. Boss. Stop the car. Min-jun's breath caught. Sir, the meeting. Stop. The Mercedes pulled to the curb. If this story is already pulling you in, drop a like and let me know. Your engagement helps more people find these stories. Paloma noticed him immediately. Not because of the suit, though it was tailored, black, expensive enough to buy her truck twice over. Not because of the way people instinctively stepped aside when he approached. She noticed him because he didn't move like them. No phone in hand. No fidgeting. No impatience. He stopped in front of her window, scanning the chalkboard menu like he was reading a contract. What can I get you? Paloma asked. I'll have whatever you recommend. His voice was low, controlled, the kind of voice that didn't ask twice. Paloma tilted her head, studying him for half a second. Then she nodded. Wait, no deference, no performance. She turned back to her prep station. Tae-jun stood there, hands in his pockets, ignoring Min-jun's tense posture by the car, ignoring the fact that 2 men in hoodies across the street were watching him a little too closely, ignoring the voice in his head that said this was a distraction he couldn't afford. When Paloma handed him the bowl, their fingers brushed, just barely. Tae-jun felt it like impact. He ate standing up, right there, fork in hand, tailored jacket be damned. The food was... He paused mid-bite. It wasn't just good. It was memory, layers, story. The kind of thing that didn't come from recipes. It came from somewhere deeper. You like it? Paloma asked, not looking up from the next order. Where did you train? Her hands stilled. Just for a second. Then she smiled, not warm, not cold. Careful. I didn't. A lie. Tae-jun knew lies the way predators knew fear. Before he could press. Health inspection. Everybody clear the area. Shouts erupted. Vendors scattered. A white van screeched to a stop, inspectors piling out with clipboards and cameras like a raid. Chaos. Paloma didn't freeze. She moved fast, surgical. Propane valve shut off. Hot surfaces covered. Cash box locked. Food secured. All in under 10 seconds. Taejun watched, still chewing. She didn't panic. Didn't fumble. She was contained. An inspector banged on the truck window. Permits. Now. Paloma wiped her hands, calm as stone, and reached for her folder. Taejun should have left. He had a meeting. 3 calls from Tokyo. A shipment to oversee. But something in his chest had shifted. 10 minutes later, the inspectors left, empty-handed, frustrated. Paloma reopened the window. The line reformed. Taejun was still there. You didn't finish, she said. I will. She glanced at him, really looked this time, then handed him a napkin. On the house. For waiting. I don't need charity. It's not charity. It's good business. She smiled. You'll come back. Taejun didn't answer. Because she was right. When he finally turned to leave, he stopped, looked back. Paloma was already serving the next customer, efficient, unbothered, alive in a way that had nothing to do with him. For the first time in years, Lim Taejun wanted to return somewhere that wasn't built on blood. He didn't know her name yet, but he would. Subscribe to Ebony and Pearl Stories for more emotional Afro-Korean love stories, and comment what time you're watching this. Let's build this community together. That night, in his office high above the city, Taejun made a call he hadn't made in months. I need information on someone. His right-hand man, Jae-sung, didn't ask questions. He never did. Name? I don't have one yet. Food truck. Corner of 5th and Merchant. Black woman, late 20s, natural hair. Find out everything. Understood. The line went dead. Taejun stood at the floor-to-ceiling window, the city sprawling below him like a chessboard. Lights flickered. Traffic crawled. Somewhere down there, she was closing up her truck, counting cash, wiping down surfaces. He should forget about her. He wouldn't. The report came back the next morning. Jae-sung slid a thin folder across Taejun's desk. Paloma Winters, 29. No criminal record. No debts. No suspicious financials. Food truck registered 3 years ago. Paid cash. Keeps to herself. Taejun flipped through the pages. Too thin. Too clean. That's it. She's clean, boss. Taejun's jaw tightened. Nobody's this clean. Clean people didn't cook like that. Didn't carry themselves like survivors who'd already lost everything once. Didn't move with that kind of contained precision. You want me to dig deeper? No. Taejun closed the folder. I'll handle it. Jae-sung raised an eyebrow but said nothing. The next afternoon, Taejun returned. Alone this time. No driver. No security. Just him, standing in line like any other customer. Paloma noticed him immediately. She raised an eyebrow, a smile tugging at the corner of her mouth. You stalking my truck now? No, Taejun said. Just hungry. She laughed, soft, genuine. Then you came back for the right reason. She handed an order to another customer, then turned back to him. Same thing. Whatever you recommend. You trust me that much? I trust good food. Smart man. As she cooked, Taejun watched. The way she scanned the street without seeming nervous. How she positioned herself with her back never fully exposed. The knife, always within reach, always visible, always controlled. Why a food truck, he asked. Paloma didn't look up. Why not? You could open a restaurant. More stable, more profit, more overhead, more permits, more people in my business. She flipped vegetables with practiced ease. This is mine. I move when I want, cook what I want, answer to nobody. Freedom. Survival. The word hung between them. Taejun leaned against the counter. You always this cautious? You always this curious? When something doesn't add up. Paloma finally looked at him, really looked, and I don't add up? Not yet. She smiled, slow and knowing. Good. Keep it that way. A man in a stained jacket shoved his way to the front of the line. Hey. I've been waiting. Paloma didn't flinch. So has everyone else. I don't got time for this. Just make my... You'll wait your turn, Paloma said, voice calm as stone. Or you'll leave. Your choice. The man stepped closer, aggressive. You think you can? I think you're holding up my line. Her hand rested casually near the knife. Not threatening, just present. And I think you're smarter than you're acting right now. The man hesitated, reading something in her eyes. Then he backed off, muttered under his breath, and walked away. Paloma turned back to Tae-jun like nothing happened. Your order's ready. Tae-jun took the bowl, studying her. You handled that well. I handle a lot of things well. Tae-jun started coming back. Every other day. Then every day. Sometimes for food. Sometimes just to watch. His men noticed. Boss, Jae-sung said one evening, standing outside the truck with arms crossed. This area isn't secure. Too many blind spots. Too much exposure. I'm aware. Then why? I'll decide what's worth the risk. Jae-sung fell silent. But his eyes tracked the street, the alleys, the cars that slowed too long. Tae-jun began conducting business there. Quiet meetings. Cash exchanges. A word here, a nod there. Nothing loud. Nothing obvious. Paloma never asked, but she noticed. You always this busy? She asked one afternoon, watching him finish a phone call in rapid Korean. Always. Must be exhausting. Must be lonely, he corrected. Paloma paused, spatula midair. Then she smiled, sad this time. Yeah, must be. The tension between them grew. Not loud, not reckless, restrained, simmering. Every glance held a question neither was ready to ask. Then, a black sedan slowed too fast at the corner. Tae-jun noticed it first. His hand moved instinctively toward his jacket, but Paloma was already moving. Get down. She grabbed his arm and yanked him behind the truck just as the car window rolled down. A gun flashed in the afternoon light. If you're holding your breath right now, you're not alone. Subscribe so you never miss what happens next, and drop a comment telling me if you think Paloma knew this was coming. The first shot cracked through the air. People screamed. Vendors dove. The afternoon turned chaos in seconds. But Paloma didn't freeze. She yanked Tae-jun down behind the truck with precise timing, before his hand reached his jacket, before Jae-sung could shout a warning, before anyone else even registered the threat. Stay down, she said, voice steady as stone. Tae-jun's back hit metal. His breath caught, not from fear, but from shock. She moved first. More shots. Glass shattered somewhere. Tires screeched. Then silence. Jae-sung's voice cut through. Clear. Boss, we're clear. Tae-jun looked up. His men had already neutralized the threat. The black sedan was gone, tires smoking as it disappeared around the corner. Two of his guards stood at strategic points, weapons drawn, scanning the street. But Tae-jun wasn't watching them. He was watching her. Paloma crouched beside him, breathing controlled, eyes sharp, scanning exits like muscle memory. Her hand rested near her waist, where a knife was probably hidden. You okay? She asked. You weren't scared. Fear wastes time. She stood, brushing off her apron like she'd just dropped a spatula, not survived to drive by. Tae-jun rose slowly, studying her. You knew. I sensed. That's not the same thing. Paloma met his eyes. No, it's not. The crowd dispersed. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Other vendors packed up fast, unwilling to stick around for questioning. Paloma stayed. She locked the truck, methodical and calm, then turned to Tae-jun. We need to talk. Not here. Then where? Tae-jun glanced at Jae-sung, who nodded and stepped back, giving them space. Follow me. They walked 3 blocks in silence. Tae-jun led her to a quiet park, empty at this hour, trees casting long shadows. He sat on a bench. Paloma stayed standing, arms crossed. Danger follows you, she said. Not a question. A fact. Tae-jun didn't deny it. Yes. Who are you? Someone you should stay away from. That's not an answer. Tae-jun leaned forward, elbows on his knees. I run things. Business. The kind people don't ask questions about. Paloma nodded slowly. Organized. Yes. Dangerous. Very. She didn't flinch, didn't step back, just watched him with those careful, knowing eyes. And you? Taejun asked quietly. You're not what you seem either. Paloma was silent for a long moment. Then she sat, not close but not distant either. I lost someone, she said. 5 years ago. My brother. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong people. Taejun's chest tightened. He got caught between two crews fighting over territory. Collateral damage. That's what they called him. Her voice stayed even, but her hands clenched. I spent 2 years drowning. Another year angry. Then I decided I wouldn't live afraid anymore. So you chose a food truck. I chose control. Something simple. Honest. Mine. She looked at him. And I learned how to see danger before it sees me. That's why you moved first. I've been watching those cars circle your block for 3 days. Taejun blinked. 3 days? You think I didn't notice you conducting business at my truck? I notice everything. The tension between them shifted, no longer just attraction, but recognition. 2 people who'd survived different hells. 2 people who refused to be victims. You should have told me to leave, Taejun said. You should have stopped coming. I couldn't. The confession hung in the air. Paloma exhaled slowly. What do you want from me, Taejun? It was the first time she'd said his name. It felt like a door opening. I don't know, he admitted. But I know I endanger you just by being near you. I've been in danger before. Not like this. Then tell me the truth. All of it. Taejun looked away. I can't. Not yet. Why not? Because once you know, you can't unknow. And he stopped, jaw tight. I don't want to be the reason you lose something you built. Paloma stood. For a moment, Taejun thought she'd walk away. Instead, she stepped closer. Listen to me carefully, she said. I don't need protection. I don't need saving. What I need is honesty. Paloma, if you stay near me, things will get worse. She repeated his own fear back to him. I know that, but I'm not running. So don't insult me by hiding who you are. Taejun stood, facing her. They were close now, close enough to feel each other's breath, close enough to see the truth neither could hide anymore. You don't understand what you're asking. Then help me understand. Silence stretched between them. Then Taejun spoke, voice low and raw. If you stay near me, things will get worse. Paloma didn't blink. Then don't lie to me. Across the city, in a dimly lit warehouse, 3 men studied surveillance photos. Paloma's food truck. Taejun standing beside it. The 2 of them talking. Laughing. She's the opening, one said. Lim Taejun doesn't have weaknesses, another argued. He does now. The photos were pinned to a board. Targets marked. Plans forming. Move carefully. We only get one shot at this. This story is just getting started. If you're feeling the tension, subscribe to Ebony and Pearl Stories and drop a comment telling if Paloma made the right choice. I want to hear what you think. The call came at 4:47 a.m. Taejun answered on the first ring, already sitting up in bed. What? Jae-sung's voice was tight. It's the truck. You need to see this. Taejun was already moving, pulling on clothes, mind racing through possibilities. How bad? Total loss. The line went dead. By the time he arrived, the sun was barely breaking the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and ash. The food truck was gone. Not vandalized. Not damaged. Destroyed. Metal twisted beyond recognition. Paint scorched black. The vibrant colors Paloma had chosen, yellows, teals, reds, all burnt to ash. The chalkboard menu she rewrote every morning, shattered glass scattered across pavement. The serving window where they'd first met, a gaping char hole. The smell of gasoline still hung thick in the air, mixing with burnt rubber and melted plastic. No bodies. No witnesses. No evidence except destruction. Just total, calculated loss. Paloma stood in the center of the wreckage, hands at her sides, staring at what used to be hers. She wore the same apron from yesterday. Somehow she'd grabbed it before everything burned. It hung loose around her waist, untied, stained with soot. She didn't cry. Her face was stone, empty, carved from something harder than grief. Taejun approached slowly, each step careful, like approaching someone on a ledge. Paloma. Don't. Her voice was steady, hollow. Just don't. He stopped a few feet away, close enough to touch, but giving her space. Waiting. Watching her process what she'd lost. The silence stretched. Morning traffic started up around them. People walked past, glancing at the wreckage, shaking their heads, moving on. Life continued. Indifferent. Relentless. Then Paloma bent down slowly, picked up a piece of the chalkboard. Her fingers traced the word jerk, barely visible through layers of soot and ash. 3 years, she said quietly, still staring at the fragment. I saved for 2 years before I could even buy the truck. Spent another year building the menu, learning the routes, finding my customers. She turned the chalkboard piece over in her hands. 3 years. I'll replace it, Taejun said immediately. Today. Better equipment. Better location. Whatever you. With what? Money. She looked at him then, really looked. Her eyes weren't angry. They were tired. Disappointed. You think money fixes this? It's a start. It's a band-aid. Then what do you want? I want it to not have happened. Her voice cracked, just barely. But we don't get that, do we? Taejun stepped closer. Let me help. Protection. Security. Relocation if you want it. A new city. Afresh. No. Paloma. I won't be hidden. She dropped the chalkboard fragment. It clattered against concrete, breaking into smaller pieces. I won't run. I won't disappear into some safe house because someone decided I'm leverage. That's not living. That's existing. They'll come for you again. Let them. You don't understand what you're saying. Then make me understand. Her composure finally cracked. You keep saying I don't know. You keep holding back. You keep treating me like I'm fragile. So tell me, who are you, Taejun? Really? What world did I step into when I pulled you behind my truck? The question hung between them like a blade. Taejun looked away, at the wreckage, at the early morning sky, at anything but her eyes. Then he exhaled slowly and spoke the truth he'd been avoiding. I run one of the largest syndicates in this city. Distribution networks. Protection rackets. Territory control. Money flows through my hands before it reaches half the businesses you see every day. His voice was flat, factual, clinical. I have enemies, rivals who've wanted me dead for years. People I've destroyed to maintain control. And now they know about you. Paloma didn't flinch, didn't step back. She just listened. I've built an empire on control, Taejun continued, words coming faster now. On making sure emotions don't interfere with decisions. On keeping people at arm's length. On never, ever showing weakness. He finally met her eyes. And then you happened. And me. You're the first person in years I couldn't keep at a distance. The first person who made me want to stop. To stay somewhere that wasn't built on blood and fear. His hands clenched. And now you're paying for my weakness. The confession settled like ash between them. Paloma crossed her arms, processing. So what now? You push me away to protect me? Make the decision for me? Yes. That's not your choice to make. It is if I'm the reason you're in danger. If my presence in your life put a target on your back. I chose this. Her eyes burned with something between anger and determination. I chose to stay when you told me who you were. I chose to ask questions instead of walking away. I chose honesty over safety. Don't take that away from me by deciding what I can handle. Taejun's jaw tightened. You're asking me to let you walk into a war. I'm asking you to stop lying, to stop hiding, to stop treating me like collateral damage instead of a person making her own choices. Silence stretched between them, heavy, loaded with everything unsaid. Then Taejun nodded, slow, deliberate, final. All right. No more lies. No more distance. Good. But I'm ending this. My way. What does that mean? Taejun pulled out his phone, already scrolling through contacts. It means they made a mistake. And I don't forgive mistakes. The war wasn't loud. No shootouts. No headlines. No bodies in alleyways. Just systematic, devastating endings. Tae-jun moved like a surgeon, precise, methodical, clinical. He froze accounts with a phone call, cut supply lines with strategic sabotage, exposed alliances with leaked communications, turned lieutenants against bosses with nothing more than doubt and carefully placed evidence. Within a week, the rival syndicate that destroyed Paloma's truck was imploding from the inside, paranoid, fractured, consuming itself. Within 2 weeks, it no longer existed. Tae-jun didn't celebrate. He just watched the pieces fall exactly where he'd calculated they would, like dominoes arranged with mathematical precision. Jae-sung stood beside him in the office, reviewing final reports. It's done, boss. They're scattered. Leadership dead or disappeared. No retaliation capacity. Good. Make sure it stays that way. You've never moved this fast before. Never this personal. Tae-jun didn't answer. Because the truth was simple and terrifying. He'd never had a reason to before. 2 weeks after the fire, Tae-jun returned to the corner of 5th and Merchant. A new food truck sat in the exact same spot. Smaller. Simpler. The paint wasn't as vibrant yet, but it was there. Paloma stood beside it, wiping down the counter with methodical care, sleeves rolled up, curls pulled back in the same neat style. She saw him approaching and smiled. Small, tired, genuine. You're early. Wanted to see it. Not much to see yet. She gestured at the bare interior. Still setting up. Menus not finalized. Equipment's half installed. But it's mine. You're rebuilding. I told you I wouldn't be hidden. She set down the cloth. And I meant it. Tae-jun stepped closer, hands in pockets. I know what I did. The people I hurt. The fear I spread to protect you. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Good. Because I'm not offering it. Paloma leaned against the truck. But I am offering partnership. What? You heard me. You said you wanted honesty. So here it is. I don't need you to save me. I don't need protection or money or relocation. I need you to see me. To stop thinking I'm something fragile just because I cook food and smile at customers. I never thought you were fragile. Then stop acting like it. Stop making decisions for me. Stop trying to control everything. Tae-jun looked at her, really looked. At the way she stood in wreckage and rebuilt without asking permission. At the way she demanded truth instead of comfort. At the way she didn't ask him to change his nature, just to be honest about it. She wasn't surviving his world. She was changing it. I don't know how to do this, Tae-jun admitted quietly, voice stripped of all pretense. Do what? Stay. Without control. Without walls. Without knowing the outcome. Paloma smiled, sad and hopeful at once. Then we'll figure it out. Together. One day at a time. For the first time in years, Lim Tae-jun believed something impossible might actually be real. If this hit you differently, subscribe to Ebony and Pearl Stories so you don't miss the ending, and tell me in the comments if you think Tae-jun made the right choice. 4 months later. The new food truck gleamed under afternoon sun, painted in bold colors again, yellows and teals and reds that refused to apologize for existing. The chalkboard menu hung perfectly aligned, Paloma's handwriting confident and clear. Next, jerk chicken wrap. 2 bulgogi bowls. Coming up, the rhythm was back. Steam rose. Onions sizzled. The lunch crowd pressed close, regulars mixed with curious newcomers who'd heard whispers about the food truck that burned down and came back stronger. Paloma moved behind the window with the same precise grace, smooth, efficient, never wasted motion. But something had changed. The wariness in her eyes had softened. Not disappeared. Just settled. A woman in business attire stepped up. First time here. What do you recommend? Paloma smiled. You trust strangers? I trust confidence. Smart woman. Paloma wiped her hands. Then you want the fusion bowl. Korean-style beans and rice, jerk seasoning, pickled mango. You'll either love me or question your taste buds. I'll risk it. As Paloma cooked, she felt his presence before she saw him. Tae-jun stood 10 feet away, hands in pockets, watching the street with casual alertness. No longer lurking in cars. No longer hiding in shadows. Just there. present, visible, choosing to be seen. He wore a simple black shirt instead of his usual tailored suit. No entourage today. No driver waiting. Just him, learning how to exist in daylight without armor. A kid accidentally bumped into him chasing a soccer ball. Sorry, mister. Taejun caught the ball, tossed it back with a small smile. No problem. Be careful. The kid ran off, laughing. 6 months ago, that interaction wouldn't have happened. 6 months ago, Taejun would have been untouchable, unreachable, surrounded by walls both visible and invisible. Now he stood on a street corner like any other man waiting for lunch. Paloma handed the businesswoman her bowl. Enjoy. Smells amazing. I'll be back. I'm counting on it. The crowd thinned slightly. Paloma glanced at Taejun, raised an eyebrow. He walked over, easy and unhurried. Hungry, she asked. Always. Same recommendation? Always. The callback settled between them like a shared secret, a private joke only they understood. Paloma started cooking without another word, and Taejun watched, not like he was studying her anymore, but like he was with her, present in the moment instead of calculating 3 steps ahead. Business slow today? She asked, not looking up. Delegated. You? Delegating. I'm learning. He leaned against the counter. Turns out the empire doesn't collapse when I'm not watching every piece move. Who would have thought? Jae-sung is handling most operations now. I'm transitioning. Paloma paused mid-stir, surprised. Transitioning to what? Don't know yet. Figuring it out. She smiled, returning to the food. That must terrify you. Completely. Good. Means you're doing it right. The last real threat had come 6 weeks ago. A rival crew testing boundaries, probing for weakness. They'd made inquiries, asked questions, watched the food truck for 3 days. Then they disappeared. Not violently, not dramatically. Taejun had made 2 phone calls, moved some money, applied pressure in places that mattered. The threat evaporated like morning fog. He didn't tell Paloma the details. Didn't need to. She understood the language of safety without demanding translations. And something had shifted in him during those calls. The old Taejun would have made examples, would have demonstrated power through fear, sent messages written in consequences. But this version, the one learning how to stand in daylight, chose precision over spectacle, protection over domination. He was learning how to stay instead of rule. Paloma handed him the bowl. Their fingers brushed, just like the first time. But now the touch lingered. Familiar. Chosen. On the house, she said. I can pay. I know. But today, it's on me. Taejun took the bowl, studying her. Why? Because 4 months ago, I was standing in ashes. And you could have walked away. Could have decided I was too complicated. Too dangerous. Too much risk. Never crossed my mind. Liar. She smiled. It absolutely crossed your mind. You just chose differently. We both did. The city noise swirled around them. Traffic, voices, sirens in the distance. The chaos hadn't stopped. The danger hadn't disappeared. The world was still sharp edges and hard choices. But this space, this small corner where a food truck stood and 2 people chose each other daily, was steady. Taejun ate slowly, savoring each bite. Not rushing, not distracted, just present. Still good. Paloma asked. Better. Same recipe. Different context. She laughed. Warm and genuine. You're getting philosophical in your old age. I'm learning from someone wise. Flattery doesn't get free meals. Wasn't asking for one. A comfortable silence settled. The kind of quiet that didn't need filling. Then Paloma spoke, voice softer. You know what I realized? What? That day you first stopped, I thought you were just another customer. Another face in an endless crowd. She wiped down the counter absently. Never imagined that one moment would change everything. Neither did I. But you came back. I had to. Why? Taejun set down the empty bowl, choosing his words carefully. Because I've spent my entire life moving, building, controlling, never stopping because stopping meant vulnerability, meant exposure. He met her eyes. Then I smelled your food. saw you move with that calm confidence, and something in me just stopped. And you hated it. Terrified me. But you kept coming back. Because for the first time, I wanted something more than control. I wanted this. He gestured at the truck, the street, the space between them. Whatever this is. Paloma's eyes softened. Partnership. Honesty. Someone who sees you without the armor. Yeah, that. A customer approached, breaking the moment. Paloma served them with practiced ease, and Taejun stepped aside, giving her space to work. He watched her move, confident, skilled, alive, and realized something profound. She hadn't just survived his world. She'd created space within it for something different. Something honest. Something that didn't require walls or weapons or constant vigilance. She'd taught him that strength wasn't just control. Sometimes it was choosing to stay when everything said run. As evening approached and the crowd thinned, Paloma started closing up. Taejun helped without being asked, wiping down surfaces, organizing supplies, moving with a kind of comfortable familiarity that came from repetition. You're getting good at this, Paloma observed. I have a good teacher. Careful. Keep sweet talking, and I might put you on payroll. I take the job. She paused, surprised. You're serious? Completely. Paloma shook her head, smiling. Lim Taejun, former syndicate boss, now food truck assistant. Has a ring to it. Terrible ring, but honest. Yeah, she agreed softly. Honest. They finished in comfortable silence, the city settling into its evening rhythm around them. When everything was locked and secured, they stood together on the sidewalk, two people who'd found each other in chaos and chose to build something steady. Walk you home? Taejun asked. I'd like that. They started walking, side by side. No rush, no destination beyond together. The city was still chaotic, still dangerous, still full of sharp edges and hard choices. But in this moment on this street, two people had found something rare. Some loves don't begin loudly. They begin when a man who never stopped finally does. When a woman builds something honest from ashes. When two people choose each other, daily, deliberately, despite everything. And that beginning, that's everything. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to Ebony and Pearl Stories for more emotional journeys like this one, and drop a comment telling me what moment hit you hardest. I love hearing from you.
Thank you so much for staying with Paloma and Taejun until the very end. You have no idea how much that means to me, knowing you took time out of your day to experience their journey alongside me. If this story touched your heart the way it touched mine while creating it, I promise you the next one will take you even deeper. It's raw, it's unexpected, and honestly, I can't wait for you to see what happens. Click the video on your screen right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Oh, and before you go, I realized something. We've been on this journey together, but I don't even know where you are right now. Are you watching from your bedroom, your office, maybe late at night when everyone else is asleep? Drop a comment and tell me where in the world you're watching from. Let me see you. Let me know you were here. Because these stories, they're only complete when you're part of them. See you in the next one. I'll be waiting for you there.